What's up YouTube, MVQDH here. In this video I'm going to go over the changes in 10.2 first, then I'll show you guys the best talent so far, and then I'll show you some of the new tricks / bugs that I've found that you can abuse in your gameplay. So starting out with the changes, a lot of changes happened to the talent tree, but I'll try and be very fast. So we got at least a decree on the left side of our tree so we can play it consistently. We lost Demon proc, which is a bit unfortunate, but we got a new talent called Inertia, where when we proc our Unbound Chaos, we'll basically get like a Demon proc for 5 seconds, which is good. Our meta is a 2-minute CD now, so that means that for Shuffle, you can consistently get 2 Metamorphoses off. This was a problem last season, because meta being a 3-minute CD, Shuffles generally would never go to 3 minutes, so you would only get 1 meta, which is a big problem. But that's basically like the big changes for the left side, more or less. Darkness is pretty bugged right now, I believe. I believe it's supposed to be 100%, but it's 30% right now in PvP. I think that's a bug, but I'm not totally sure. Then for the right side, we have a lot of changes. So we got a new talent called Demon Hide that increases our overall damage by 3% because all our damage is magic, and reduces the physical damage taken we take by 5%, which is nice. MS have a choice node now where you can drop MS and you can get Deflecting Dance that gives you a huge shield during your Blade Dance window, which goes away once your Blade Dance animation is over. We usually won't be playing this because, you know, you usually need to play a mess, but it's nice in Shuffle when sometimes you get a warrior in your team and, you know, you can just play this. So we can play Netherwalk consistently now because we want to go down to the left side, which is great. I-Beam is completely useless now, with Serrated Glaive being changed, where it no longer increases the damage of your I-Beam, but now increases the damage of your Throw Glaive and Chaos Strike. So I-Beam is completely useless, so we're basically skipping all the I-Beam talents, and this causes us to go down on the left side, which means that we can get Netherwalk now, which is great. And then we get Scars of Suffering here, which is in talent that increases our verse by 4%, so that's basically like a 4% damage increase and a 2% damage taken decrease passively, which is great. Immolation Aura got changed. Oh no, sorry, Immolation Aura. Isolated Prey got changed, where for anyone who don't know, so in 10.1.5, I believe, Chaos Nova got changed to last a second longer with Isolated Prey. So now it's a 5-second stun. And then in 10.2 now, Immolation Aura now has a 100% chance to crit if you only hit one person. So this has huge implications for Burst, and I'll show you guys in a minute. Then we have a new talent called Fire Inside, which causes Immolation Aura to have 2 charges, as you can see here in the action bar. And when you use it, there's a 30% chance for it to refund the charge. There are some bugs with this, which you can abuse, and I'll show you guys that in a minute as well. And then we have a new talent called Chaotic Disposition, where whenever you deal chaos damage, there's a 7.77% chance to duplicate 70% of the damage up to 7 total times. So what this basically means is that whenever you can do large hits, you have a big chance, or decent chance, 7.7, to do even more damage, right? Because it duplicates 70% of the damage. So for example, let's say I do Elysian Decree, I do 150k, and then I duplicate 20% of that, 70% of that, right? That's 30k damage that I'm duplicating, but I can duplicate up to 7 times, so that's 30 times 7, you know? That's 450,000, I think. Is it? I think, wait, 350,000. That's 350k from Chaotic Disposition. So that's pretty wild. I think my math is off though. Hold on, let's double check. Just pull up the calculator. 150,000 times 0.2 times 7. Okay, 210,000. Okay, I was a bit off, but regardless, it'll hit harder than the original ability if you get the max roll. But it is one of your highest damage abilities. So if I look at like one of my previous games, as you can see, it is pretty much #1. Like I have 5 abilities that are almost even. So it's definitely crazy. And if you remove 1 point, you keep the same damage, but it can only roll up to 3 times. So I think there are going to be scenarios with builds in the future where you just drop 1 point in this. But obviously not right now because it's just completely cracked, and Fel Barrage is great. So Fel Barrage is another new talent. Well, we had that before, but it was just shit. Whereas now it just keeps going for 8 seconds. It does up to right now with the current gear, it's like 600,000 damage, single target, but it goes AoE, so it can do up to 1.8 million damage in threes because there's 3 players, right? And it's not a channel anymore. So if I go and hit the stummy, if I press Fel Barrage, it just goes and it just takes my fury. And there's some tricks you can do to keep it going. Like you see, I just did Elysian Decree, and that kept my that increased my fury bar because of the souls. And the reason for that is because Demonic Appetite, which was a talent before, is a passive now. So what you can do is during your Fel Barrage window, you can pick up souls to increase your fury, which is another reason why like Soul Sigils is great now, because this causes your Sigil of Flame to generate 30 fury, right? But then it drops a soul that gives you another 20 fury, so that's 50 fury just from one button. But that's basically the changes for now in terms of talents. So I think what I'll do now is I'll go over the best what's it called, talent tree. So for talents, you have a talent here called Vengeful Bonds that you can drop for more healing from your souls. This is good into some matchups where you don't really get much value from the slow, and you get a lot of value from the heals. So a scenario where you wouldn't get value from heals is Shuffle, for example, where Dampen ramps up really fast. You could also, grab one of these while Anger or Disrupting Fury. Those are good options as well for this one talent point. So you have like 4 things you can choose between. Whatever you feel is good in that scenario, you can play. You don't play Precise Sigils now, which means that you have to actually put the sigil on your cursor, which is a bit awkward. But the reason why you do this is because in order to get Precise Sigils, you have to go through Lost in Darkness, which is a useless talent. So you're basically using 2 talent points to get Precise Sigils, which is really bad. So what you want to do is you basically want to do like a macro like this, like remove, ignore the no mod thing. That's just for not holding down shift when I press it. But that's just because I have like this right here. But all you have to think about is the add cursor condition in brackets. If you add that, then it'll just cast it where your cursor is, so you don't have to click where the green circle is afterwards as well. But other than that, this build is basically pretty set in stone. You can drop Scars of Suffering to play Chaotic Transformation if you want, but since I-Beam is kind of useless, I don't think I really like this too much. I think Scars of Suffering is just better. Into some matchups, you can drop Fel Barrage for Chaotic Transformation, maybe. If you're against like double caster healer and like you just are getting carried all game, maybe. I'm not totally sure. I think Fel Barrage might just be insane. Like these talent points seem really set in stone. There's really not much change you can do. So I think like the only like big change you're gonna be able to do is basically this one talent point here, and then you put it, one of these. The reason why we don't want to play we don't care about Fear anymore is because Fear is a 3-second duration now, so it's really fucking bad. Like, it's a Dragon's Breath duration. Like, it's so fucking bad. So we really don't care about this anymore. So that's why we don't care about playing Improved Sigils, Sigil and Misery. We don't care about it being a 1 minute 30-second CD because it's just shit. But that's basically it for talents. You can just copy this right here. I'll put the code in the talent code in the description, so you can just copy it. Alright, so for some certain tricks you can do, so there is a bug right now with, I don't think it's a bug, I think it's more of a feature actually, with Immolation Aura, where if you have an Immolation Aura active, like I have right now, and you use another Immolation Aura, that Immolation Aura will not trigger a GCD. So if you can see here, I can press Immolation Aura F4 at the exact same time. And I got another proc, so I can do it again. Okay, it didn't work that time. So basically, when you have an immolation aura active, your subsequent immolation auras will not trigger a GCD. So you can see here. And this has huge implications. So for example, let's say I'm doing damage to the dummy, right? Or player, sorry. And let's say I've used Immolation Aura, and then I use like an ability, and then I had a proc, so I have another Immolation Aura active. Normally you just press Immolation Aura and then do nothing, but because of this, you want to use Immolation Aura and then use another global for maximum damage. So I'll just wait for my Immolation Aura CD and then I'll show you. Alright, so let's say I put Immolation Aura up, and then I want to do like a Fell Rush, and I stun. Let's say I want to I-beam Essence Break now. What I do is I want to Immolation Aura I-beam, because there's no GCD between them, and that way I optimize my DPS. I hope this makes sense. So there is a GCD when you press Immolation Aura, subsequent Immolation Auras, but only for Immolation Aura itself. So you can't, let's say you get like really lucky and you just reset your Immolation Aura like 5 times in a row. You can't just smash your Immolation Aura and then like get 5 Immolation Auras up. It only applies for other abilities other than Immolation Aura. So that's why when you are playing, you want Immolation Aura, press a button, Immolation Aura, press a button, Immolation Aura, press a button. You know, that's how you like optimize your damage with the procs. So I hope that makes sense. And what's really big about this is because it's in the start of the game, you want to get like, because inertia stacks up, right? Like you can get it. It lasts 5 seconds, but if you get inertia up while you have inertia up, it just kind of extends the duration. So using Immolation Aura and then Fell Rush and then Immolation Aura Fell Rush afterwards, just extends the duration more than it otherwise would. So for example, I do Fell Rush, Immolation Aura, Fell Rush, and now I have 10 seconds, and it goes way faster than if I had to press Immolation Aura, Fell Rush, and then Immolation Aura, and then Fell Rush, you know? If you're aware of this, you can really abuse it. So there I had like almost 10 seconds of inertia up, whereas if you're not aware of this and you're playing as if Immolation Aura has a GCD, then you would only have like 7 seconds of inertia. So that's like trick number 1. Okay, so second trick is, so Fell Rush is depleting your Fury the entire time. So the standard opener with using the tip I just showed you is to get as many Immolation Auras up as possible, and then once you have no more Immolation Auras available to you, you venture retreat to trigger tactical retreat, which gives you Fury generation. And all these things combined with Burning Hatred causes you to generate a ton of Fury passively, which means that your Fell Rush will just keep going, and you can actually play your character and not have to sit there and not use any buttons, because you don't want to use any Fury. So I'll just show how that looks like. So I Immolation Aura, and then I Fell Rush, Immolation Aura, Fell Rush, Immolation Aura, I-beam, venture retreat, pop the thing, and now I can actually, look at my Fury, I can actually play the game. I can actually press buttons, and I, pick up these souls from Releasing Decree, and yeah. So that's how you want to use Fell Rush, is just abuse your passive Fury generation. It's so OP, like, there. Like, I don't even think I can like use my Fury right now. Yeah, I can't even use it if I wanted to. I'm using the most expensive ability in the game, 40 Chaos Strike is 40 Fury. I can't even like get to 0 when I have 2 Immolation Auras up and a Venture Retreat Fury generating up. And obviously there's the other tip, which is hunt. So let's say this guy's playing a Night Elf, right? And if I hunt him right now, he'll die, but he's a Night Elf, so he'll meld my hunt. So what I can do is I can press hunt, and then I can spam Venture Retreat, which will cancel the animation. So I'll just show you. There. So you can basically hunt someone from 50-yard range and hit them if you Venture Retreat. And this also works with big meta, and I'll show you in a sec. I just have to wait for the CD. Alright, so let's see here. Hunt, and then I meta. You can see. It's a bit slower because there's a GCD, but it's the same concept. Because obviously Venture Retreat's off the GCD, so you can just use it instantly. And then the last trick I want to show you is how Fear works. So Sigil of Fear doesn't break to sigils itself. So if you fear and you release a decree, it won't break. So I'll show you here. I fear. Oh my fucking god, I need to do something else. Fuck me. Okay, so let's try these. Oh my god, man. It's not real life. Come on. Yes, alright. So I fear. And then I sigil. And it doesn't break. I can do another sigil. Doesn't break. And then if I actually do damage, it breaks. So you can do this, use this for your advantage sometimes. If you're like really low, you can fear and then pop Release and Decree and then pick up all the souls and you can kind of top yourself. And then the absolute final tip I will show you is how to do your burst damage. So this is pretty straightforward. With Chaos Nova being 5 seconds, assume that when I'm stunning someone it lasts 5 seconds. Actually, maybe if I stun this one it'll be 5 seconds. Okay, so you want to basically pre-Immolation Aura, then you want to Fel Rush, stun, and then I-Beam, cancel it, Essence Break, Blade Dance, Chaos Strike. That's how you want to do it. So let me just do that much faster. And yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna do my burst rotation on this guy. I'm gonna show you how to do the actual burst rotation. So here's how you do it. So you Immolation Aura, stun, Fel Rush, I-Beam, Essence Break, Blade Dance. You want to cancel the I-Beam because I-Beams are shit. So Immolation Aura, let's get some Fury real quick. Then we Chaos Nova, Fel Rush, I-Beam, Essence Break, Blade Dance. That's basically how you want to do it. If you're able to, because you have 2 Immolation Auras up, you can pre-Inertia, and then you can get an Release and Decree off as well, and I'll show you that in a second here. Okay, so now I'm gonna double Immolation Aura, then Chaos Nova, I-Beam, Essence Break, Release and Decree, Blade Dance. I think that can be optimized a bit. If you really want to kill them in this stun, you can pre-I-Beam as well. That gives them a chance to pre-do stuff, but that can be done as well, and this isn't really a bad strategy at all. But this is basically like the max damage combo you can do. And if you look at my damage breakdown, you can see it's pretty fucking nuts. Like my death streak didn't even hit its last hit, and this guy died, right? And Immolation Aura did 207k during that burst window because Immolation Aura is that disgusting. So, but that's basically all the changes for Demon Hunter. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will put some disclaimer on this video once it gets outdated, and I'll just make another one. It doesn't take too long for me to do these kind of videos, so yeah, I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.